Hey there, I'm Jennifer Terri. I usually make Philippine travel updates, but this video will be Philippines to US. So if, let's say you are a Balikbayan, you are a Filipino, you visited the Philippines, now you're going back to the US, or a Filipino on tourist visa, this is the video, the guide, Philippines to US travel requirements. So I'll make this video simple, straight to the point. Before we proceed to this video, I'd like to give a shout out to the video sponsor, Bukso. What is Bukso? Bukso is a premium Japanese snacks box subscription service that delivers original, authentic Japanese snacks and tea pairings. So it's all about Japanese experience, Japanese food. We may not be able to go to Japan right now, but we can taste Japan through their snacks. So right now guys, we're going to try this Japanese bukso. They have been waiting for so long. Alright, open it up. Wow! So every month you get a different box. There's a theme for every month po. And the great thing is that every month the snacks are always different. So you get to explore different tastes of Japan. Their box is straight from Japan. Literally, I received mine with address in Japan. And the boxes po, it's free shipping for the US. So go ahead and try it. It's fun with children. It's fun to try with friends or with family. Use my code Jennifer10 or click the link in the description box or in the comment section to get 10% or save up to $47 for your own authentic Japanese subscription box from Bukso. Don't miss out on this amazing snack journey through Japan. So there were changes now on the requirements for travel to the US, and they have finally lifted the ban on around 30 plus countries. Fortunately, we were not included on that list, so Philippines was not on their banned list. But there is still a major change on travel from Philippines to US. So let's start with that major change. So starting November 8th, non-US citizens, non-legal permanent residents in the US, entering the US through air travel will be required to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and to provide proof of vaccination prior to boarding your flight or your airplane to the US. So you need vaccination proof, complete vaccination. Remember, to be fully vaccinated, it has to be 2 weeks after your second dose or 2 weeks after the first dose if it's J&J. What vaccines will be accepted? So, majority naman na ginagamit ng Philippines are accepted. So, for example, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Oxford, AstraZeneca, Oxford Covid-Shield, yan, Sinopharm, Sinovac, yan, sa mga Sinovac babies dyan, it is accepted. However, Sputnik po is not accepted. It's not WHO approved yet. Hi, moving forward, if you're fully vaccinated in the Philippines, what vaccination proof do you need? You have two options. Vaxcert PH or BOQ issued ICV. So Vaxcert PH, you can get that online. It's free. No, through just computer. You just need your vaccination card because you will need some info there. That's all. While ICV, you need to book sa BOQ website, icv.boq.ph. You need to attend the appointment and you need to pay 300 pesos. So if I were you, Vaxcert PH, it's the best. But I heard na it doesn't reflect all the list of people who are fully vaccinated. Like, it's still undergoing improvement. So look, try to get the vaccination certificate from Vaxcert PH. If it doesn't work for you, there's actually an option there where you can submit the vaccination card. But for backup, let's say you're traveling soon, I suggest trying to get an ICV appointment, yung BOQ issued yellow card. Next up, Jennifer, is there an exemption to this vaccination requirement? Yes, there is an exemption. Who are exempted? Children under 18, people medically unable to receive the vaccine, or emergency travelers who do not have timely access to a vaccine. Humanitarian exception to this order will be granted on extremely limited basis. So basically guys, children, mga bata, they are exempted as long as they're under 18. Who else are exempted? US citizens and legal permanent residents. So if you're a US citizen, you travel here in the Philippines, and then the rules change while you are here. Now you want to go back to the US, you're not vaccinated, that's okay. You can still enter the US citizens and legal permanent residents unvaccinated, that's alright. If you're unvaccinated, you just need to show negative test result taken within 24 hours before departure. While if you're fully vaccinated, then it's still the same. You need to show a negative test result taken within 72 hours before departure. So the change basically, if you're a US citizen or a legal permanent resident, is that your negative test result should be taken within 24 hours before departure. Regardless of your vaccination status, you still need to show a negative test result, right? The only really change is the time. Yeah? The turnaround time. So for example, if you're 2 years old and above, you need to show negative test result. So what type of test? You can either, in the Philippines, more commonly known, RT-PCR test or an antigen test. RT-PCR test is the most accepted test, but it's more pricey. It's pricier. So for example, guys, if you're flying with Philippine Airlines, you can avail the RT-PCR test for 2,599 pesos. It's released within 24 hours. While antigen test, it's much safer, much quicker, it's much more convenient and cheaper. If you take it with PAL, Philippine Airlines, it's only at 700 pesos. And the result is released in 30 minutes. So I suggest for unvaccinated travelers, US citizens and legal permanent residents, consider an antigen test. How about children? Do they need to show negative tests? Yes, if they're over 2 years old. So for an unvaccinated child traveling with fully vaccinated adults or traveling alone, they can show a negative test result taken 72 hours within departure. But if the unvaccinated child travels with an unvaccinated adult, parent, or guardian, then they have to show proof of a negative test result taken within 24 hours of departure. So they're stricter for children who are traveling with unvaccinated adults. The other change on the US travel is the contact tracing order. But for this one, guys, it will be up the responsibility of the airline to collect contact information, and including full name, phone number, email address at which they can be reached while staying in the US. Airlines will have to keep this information in hand and promptly turn it over to the CDC when requested. Now for Filipino requirements, of course, Philippines has their own requirements as well. So if you are traveling domestic po, download Trace app. It's used for domestic travel. Just download it in your phone. It's a contact tracing app that's really not, wala masyadong ginagamit, pero some airports are very strict on this, so just download Trace app on your phone and register. It will give you a QR code. Next is CFO. It's not for everyone. CFO is only required for, let's say you are going to the US because you have a fiance in the US, a foreign citizen, a foreign national, then you need CFO. Or if you are a Filipino with a foreign spouse, you need CFO if you're leaving the country, or if it's your first time leaving the country as a permanent resident abroad, then you need CFO. You can apply po online, and there are heaps of tutorial videos or articles on how to get CFO. But basically, you apply online po. Now, in summary, this is what you need to bring to your flight. So if you're a Filipino on tourist visa, your vaccination proof. So this new rule will start on November 8. If you're flying tomorrow, this October, okay pa na wala kang vaccination. Or even on November 5, okay pa. The change applies starting on November 8. So I'm already assuming that this is covering the November 8 changes. So Filipinos on tourist visas, your COVID vaccination proof, either yung yellow card or yung Vaxcert PH. Next is a 72 hours negative test result. Travel and health insurance with COVID-19 coverage, that is a requirement by the Philippine Immigration. If you're looking for an insurance, check out Safety Wing po. They are used by many travelers. They include US coverage. Use my link, guys, referral link. Next up is a CFO, only if you are a foreign fiancé or spouse, yan, of a foreign national. Next is round trip tickets. Yes, required yan, even before the pandemic. Required naman talaga yan. Next is you have to pay travel tax. So if you're flying economy, 1,620. If it's first class, it's 2,700 pesos. While for dual US Filipino citizens or permanent residents in the US who are Filipinos, no, if you're vaccinated, then vaccination proof and a negative COVID-19 test result taken 72 hours within departure. If you're unvaccinated, then it has to be a negative test result taken 24 hours within departure. Yun lang. Hindi naman complicated. Other forms that will be given upon check-in, for example, is attestation form, travel risk form. It will be distributed by the airlines naman, so no need to problema naman dyan kasi ibibigay naman sa airport. Departure card will be distributed at the airport as well, so don't worry about printing attestation kasi it will be provided by the airlines. For foreigners, please check if you are needed to apply for a travel pass. But for Balikbayans, those who availed Balikbayan privilege, don't worry about that. It's not required, especially if you stayed in the Philippines for less than a year lang. So that is all for this Philippines to US travel guide. It's just short, but I hope it helped you. If I missed anything, please comment down below. Don't forget to like this video. I'll see you with another travel update. Bye!